Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the YouTube audiobook series for The Forbidden Truth, written by Abby Matthias. I am Darius, and today I will be introducing Chapter 32, Choices. If you missed Chapter 31, I highly suggest going back. It is very important before this chapter. But if you are all caught up and ready to go, we will continue on with Chapter 32, Choices.
Peaceful darkness greeted me after the ending battle with Satan. I didn't really know exactly why, but it was something I couldn't control. The powerful vessel that we created gave out for some reason and made us faint, leading us into some sort of dream-like state. Yet nothing really came from it. Just silence, and a black abyss awaited me on the other side, like drifting on the ocean, stranded and alone for God knows how long. Yet eventually, I began to hear a familiar voice coming from within the void.
Abby, sweetheart, come back to me, please.
At the request, I felt myself being pulled forward until I could hear the voice plainly.
Abby, my love, it's okay. I'm here.
Coming to my senses, I felt the heated air upon my skin while I shifted a bit within my spot. Finally being able to move my limbs, I was able to open my eyes slowly and see a miracle. Damien was himself again, not as a demon. He was human. With some miraculous fate, he was transformed back. But how? And especially why? Despite the questions running through my head, as I realized it was my boyfriend, I immediately hugged him for dear life. Yet with just that simple action, I also realized something huge. I wasn't in my demon spirit. I was also myself. Damien's stature was bigger than mine, and I was level with his chest in hearing his heartbeat in time. At that epiphany, I pulled away from him again, and he placed his hand on my cheek.
Are you okay?
He asked softly. Yes, I'm more than okay. What about you? You're back to being human.
I'm fine. The nightmare is over. Everyone is safe.
Everyone? Including Darius?
Trust me, I believe my dad is more than okay. Take a look for yourself.
And he pointed to the side and kept his head turned in the same direction. Twisting my head to where he was directing me, I saw two people unwrapping from a hug. The woman, of course, was Nala, but gazing at the other person, my eyes widened to the highest degree while my mouth dropped. For standing only a few feet away from me was my protector demon, as a human. His skin was tan while his black hair still seemed perfectly combed. His body height was, of course, of regular human size. His clothes changed to his normal clothing that he wore back when he made the deal with Satan, consisting of a dark red shirt with a matching black vest and pants. Rectangular glasses sat perfectly on his face while his blue eyes stared down at me. I could see his eyes starting to water briefly as his breath became shallow. He was trying to hold himself together from either being overjoyed or relieved. Seeing him as a whole overwhelmed me with happiness and shock. His demon shell was broken, and he was standing before me as himself, living, breathing, and freed from his torment.
Would you like to officially meet my dad? The way I remember him?
Damien asked. Without breaking eye contact with Darius, I nodded my head and my boyfriend helped me stand to my feet. My balance was a little thrown off again as I was getting used to my equilibrium, but I still found it quickly and stood tall. Darius took a step towards me, while Nala stayed put with a smile on her face, I slowly took a step towards him as well, flabbergasted to see him in human flesh.
Hello, Miss Davis.
He said with his new voice. Upon his greeting, my shock was overtaken by excitement within a span of seconds. To his surprise, I rushed over to him and wrapped him with an embrace, not saying a word. Immediately he did the same and squeezed me tight while tears began to fall from my eyes. I was hugging the man who had been protecting me during the worst time of my life. The very person who has done nothing but sacrifice his life to save mine. My boyfriend's father, who I considered a dad myself, was actually embracing me as his true self. You did it, I said, trying to keep myself composed. You freed yourself from hell.
Not me. Us. We did it. I never would have been able to do it without you, Abby.
More tears of joy began to roll down my face after his statement, my face buried in his shoulder while his head was resting on mine, trying to hide my watery eyes, feeling his beating heart pounding against his chest. I love you, Darius.
I love you too, Abby. You will forever hold a special place in my heart.
A silence commenced and filled the air for another brief moment, emotions fully spilling onto the floor and making themselves known. However, eventually it was disrupted by another voice speaking.
Congratulations, Darius Stone.
With those words filling the arena, Darius and I instantly let go of each other as we turned to the person talking. Walking towards the edge of the arena where we were, Brutus continued to talk.
You killed Satan Kernon and saved yourself from his wrath. It took a little while, that's for sure. But the day has finally come.
Damien and Nala both walked towards us as he somewhat ranted, nervous as to what was happening. Darius stepped in front of us all, as if he was taking the brunt of what was happening.
I also wanted to say that I forgive you for trying to choke me out earlier. I understand that you were concerned about Miss Davis.
As Brutus stopped only a few feet away, Darius fully stepped up to him and threw a punch in his face, landing it right on his nose. The assistant, of course, reeled back in surprise and pain. However, I rushed to Darius's side before he began to talk.
What the hell is wrong with you? Trying to pretend like you're the good guy when you only live to serve the most evil being known to anyone, I said without giving it a moment's thought. He held his nose for a bit, making sure it wasn't broken or bleeding. Sadly, it wasn't. Yet after he regained his focus, he cleared his throat and spoke again.
Now, Mr. Stone, you haven't given me the chance to explain anything yet. I know that there are a lot of things going on,
And just what exactly are you going to explain to me? The fact that you watched me suffer all these damn years and you haven't done a thing to help me out?
That's my point exactly. I have watched you suffer. However, I have guided you along this path without you fully knowing it. I have helped you even before you became a protector demon.
Then tell us exactly how, Brutus,
Abby demanded, chiming in on our conversation.
Tell all of us what you have done to help Darius.
For starters, let me say that I was the one who first told him that he was the chosen one.
And then he suddenly shifted into an old man with rags for clothes. The same old man that I encountered twice within the alleyways of hell.
I had to see for myself how your progress was without being caught by Kernon,
he said in the old man voice. Then he shifted back to his normal self, quickly straightening his silver shirt and black pants after the transformation was complete.
I was the one who gave you your wedding ring back, while also fusing it with the power of memory. That way, when you touched your wife or someone you loved, they could see back into your memories from when you were human, or you could see into their memories. I gave you the snake journal to write all your powers in. I mended and adjusted your clothes so you wouldn't burst out of them if your new features malfunctioned or activated. Anything involving the old man was my doing. And that is only part of what I have done for you.
At that point, I stood frozen in shock, my mind wondering what else he has done for me that I haven't known about for all this time. But I was also looking for more solid proof than just the 2 times I interacted with him. Tell me what else you have done.
Gladly. I have written to you in secret to help you within desperate times. Even though it was twice, I still warned you about what was happening and signed it anonymously. I have sent you those visions within your dreams telling you of what was to come. I have also interacted with you within those dreams in an attempt to help you along your journey.
Wait, you were the one constantly giving me nightmares? I screamed.
No, I didn't give you nightmares. I just used your dreams to see how far you were to completing the prophecy. Your nightmare was the only thing you really dreamed about. I don't have the ability to give you good dreams. I can influence them to give you visions or talk to you within that particular dream. I am sorry that you were haunted by that reoccurring nightmare. If you feel sorry about it, then why did it take you this long to tell my father about what was going on?
Damien said, walking forward next to his mother.
If you were helping him, why couldn't you just say something or give him a warning instead of keeping it secret? Because I had to gain Kernon's trust and keep it. If he would have found out that I was the one that put your father in the Protector Demon program, I would have been killed.
Excuse me, what? I asked, flabbergasted and intruding. You made me a Protector Demon?
Yes, I did. I can finally say who I truly am. I am the Archangel Brutus.
At his official introduction, a pair of wings sprouted from his back and displayed themselves. They were black with tints of silver in the feathers, signifying some sort of dark angel wing.
I sacrificed my life in heaven to serve it within this horrible nightmare of a place. By that, I mean that I find demons and succubuses suitable to be protector demons to innocent children on Earth. That way we can help even the children who don't necessarily believe in religion. But again, they need to be suitable for the responsibility of it and somewhat pure to do so. I started as Satan's assistant many years ago, but it wasn't that long before Darius was brought into this world. I heard about what happened to him, and I sickened at it. I did after a while, but in the meantime, I helped Mr. Stone in ways you probably didn't even think about. I was the one that gave you the house on the outskirts of hell. It actually used to be mine before I worked my way up to being Satan's assistant. I made sure your fridge was full and whiskey was always in your kitchen. I gave you all of your belongings and did my best to give you somewhat of a life back instead of a prison. During the years of waiting, I was able to learn more about your situation and who you were as a person, leading me to believe you were the perfect fit for the Protector Demon program, but also to be the savior of hell. So with all of the angels in agreement, we sent you on the journey of a lifetime.
If that's the case, why did you choose for him to be paired with me?
Abby asked.
Well, we always try and pair the dead with a compatible living host. However, with Darius's case, we wanted him to find his family again and eventually rekindle with them by any means necessary. We couldn't break the deal with Satan that he made, but we could at least help aid in that process. He also couldn't protect Damien because, well, it would have been too obvious for Satan Karnan to figure out. So we went with the next best thing, which was the closest friend Damien had. It actually worked out better than expected, as you two were meant to be together anyway. It was in the works already.
Wait, I was actually meant to be with Damien?
Abby asked again, shocked out of her mind. All Brutus did was nod his head to her, and she became quiet again.
In regards to the pair of you, it was the first ever demon-human partnership that involved opposite genders. We didn't know how it was exactly going to work, but it looks like you two connected better than we expected.
So the angels are the ones in charge of the Protector Demon program?
Nola asked. Yes, Mrs. Stone. In simple terms, the angels are the ones who select Protector Demons.
But that still doesn't explain why you chose me to be the chosen one. Please, tell me why.
Well, I was hoping it was kind of obvious. But the truth is, you are one of the purest souls within the demon world. You were meant for greatness, Darius. Your path was set for you to be a successful doctor, and to be the top physician in all of New York. You were also meant to have more children and grow your family out rather than just having one child. But that changed when Satan got in the way. The honest reason why you were chosen was because of what you did to save your child's life. You sacrificed yourself in order for your son to live. There was not an ounce of greediness or selfishness within your heart when you made that cursed deal. You cared for the ones around you more than yourself and paid the price for another. A lot of power was put into your court, and you only used it for good. All of those reasons and many more were the reasons why we chose you to be the promised one.
After Brutus brought more light to my situation, I couldn't help but pause in bewilderment. All of these years, I thought that Satan's assistant was an equal to him. My mind believed him to be a bad guy just because he worked alongside the evil bastard. Yet according to what he has explained, I was totally wrong. He's been the one who helped me since day one of my demon life, and I didn't even know about it. As of this point, I was now feeling awful for all of the things I have done to him. Tackling him to get his attention, somewhat empty threats saying he would be killed, almost choking him out, and now punching him in the face, assuming he was still my enemy. Realizing all of that, my facial expression shifted to remorse as I began to rub my neck. I'm really sorry, Brutus, for everything, especially for punching you just now, I said nervously.
It's quite alright, Mr. Stone. I forgive you. I'm sorry I couldn't full out tell you what was happening. I still needed you to put the pieces together on your own. That way you could discover and believe in yourself again. Without it, none of this could have been possible.
So, did Darius fulfill the prophecy? Why are Darius, Damien, and I human again? What happened?
He most certainly did fulfill the prophecy. He saved hell from Satan's unruliness while also saving the humans on Earth. Because of Satan being persecuted for his crimes, he has freed every human that has ever made a deal with either of them, including himself. Everything is restored as to what it should be, including Darius being human again. Because of that, Damien is back to his normal self, and Mr. Stone is no longer a protector demon to you. Hence, you no longer need a demon spirit or the marking pairing you two together. Everyone can move on in happiness and stop living in turmoil. Yet there is still one more choice he needs to make.
Choice? What choice do I possibly have to make? My deal is broken and I can go home. I assume based on what you are saying.
Yes, that is your first option. You can be free from the demon world and continue on with your life as normal. You can be with your wife and son again without missing a beat. Yet there is another option you could choose.
And what would that choice be?
Darius Stone, because of your courageous acts and bravery, you have opened up an even bigger door that doesn't open up to just anyone. The old Satan was killed by you, and you now have the opportunity to take his place. You have the choice to become Satan's Stone and be the leader of the demon realm.
What?
We all said in unison.
How is that even an option for him?
It's a choice because he has killed the leader of hell, like I said. That would technically make him our next king. But if he chooses that, he will be an even bigger target for people. There will be people wanting to kill him again. You can't please everyone, but there would be a greater difference between Darius's ruling and previous Satans before him. I firmly believe he could change hell for the better. Make it prosperous instead of diminishing. Yet if he becomes Satan, he will for sure be stronger than the previous one. A lot more power would be available to him where he could easily defend himself if someone were to attack him.
But if he chooses to be Satan, he'll never be able to see us again.
That isn't true, Brutus said with a chuckle. That's a foolish remark. He can visit you anytime he likes. As long as he does his job, he could do as he pleases.
But he wouldn't be able to live as a human again. And I mean the way he is now, heartbeat in his chest and seen by others.
Well, when you put it like that, no, he wouldn't.
Then I think you already know his choice.
Nala said, grabbing a hold of my left arm.
He wouldn't choose that over being human again and living with his family.
Then all he needs to do is tell me. I will abide by his wishes.
At that moment, I began to feel everyone's eyes staring at me. My mind was trying to comprehend everything that was going on, but it was also trying to make a choice at the same time. If I choose to be human, I would reset my life with my family. Abby would still be involved in my life, but I wouldn't be able to walk around with her for protection. I would have to face reality in a new time period and face whatever obstacles were gonna come my way because of my reappearance. I would be free from hell. I could leave this past behind me and never look back. Yet I was still considering my second option. I could stay within the demon world and lead, guide the citizens to thrive and make a bigger difference than I ever could. My choices would affect every undead being within this realm, but I would do my best to get the best possible outcomes. Sure, I wouldn't be human anymore. That would be a con of this choice, but it might have been the better outcome at this point. After a brief pause, my wife forcefully turned me to her as she grabbed a hold of my face.
Darius, you can't seriously be considering the second option here. We could be a true family again and live together for the rest of our human lives. Think about what you're going to lose if you choose to be Satan. All of the danger you are going to put yourself through by being down here for another second. You are my rock, Darius. I don't want to live without you for another second. Please don't do this.
Nala, you won't lose me, I stated, bringing my hands up to grab hers and pull them away from my face. We could still be a family even if I choose to stay down here and serve the people. Yes, I would have to adjust to my new role and learn about everything again. But I think it's the better option here.
But what about your son? He needs you as a human. Damien, tell him how you feel,
she said, turning to my boy.
I know it sounds crazy, but I think Dad should stay down here and become the devil,
he said, slightly shrugging.
Nala immediately turned away from me and took about 5 steps to Damien to interrogate him.
Damien! How can you say that? Ever since your father disappeared, all you wanted was for him to come back. You even said so yourself. You wished for your father to be with us, and now he has that chance. He could come home with us, and we could all be one big happy family again like we were in New York. Why would you encourage your dad to do the opposite?
Because being a family doesn't end in death, Mom. Just because he will be down here doesn't mean that we no longer are the way we were. Yeah, he will look different. Yeah, he may be the devil. But I think this world needs him more than the humans do.
I need him!
She cried. After that, she turned herself around and walked towards Brutus, pain and a little bit of fury spilling out of her pores.
If Darius chooses to be human, then I will too have a demon spirit so I can be by his side.
No, Nala, I said, finally intruding. If I choose this, you will not step foot onto this ground. I know how dangerous this world can be, and I don't need you or Damien getting hurt.
Darius Stone, I refuse to live without you by my side. We've already spent 14 years apart because of the bastard who trapped you here. I don't want to spend another moment without you.
Sweetheart, I said with a lower voice. I need to consider all the outcomes to each option I have. It's not that being human again doesn't sound pleasing, but I need to consider everyone in each scenario. If I choose to be Satan, I can still come and see you guys whenever I want and be Abby's protector demon. If I choose to be human, I live with my family again while Abby can come over whenever she wants. But there is another stipulation to that plan if you choose that route, Brutus mentioned. Looking up at him a bit, I asked, "What's the stipulation? I thought you said everything would be back to normal." Well, it would. You would live among mortals and be with your family. No one will have either demon spirits or abilities of power. However, Abby's memory of you would be erased. She wouldn't remember you, and your bond with her would be wiped away. Damien and Nala wouldn't remember you as a demon either, but they wouldn't be affected by that as much as Miss Davis would. After I was told that, I realized why this was going to be such a hard choice. Either I become a demon forever, and choose to live within the demon realm as Satan, or I leave everything behind me, along with the relationship I have with Abby Davis. She wouldn't remember our time together, and would see me once more as a stranger again. Then if she couldn't remember while I did, those memories would haunt me. Knowing how much we connected and understanding she was the one that helped me through my demon life. She had a very special place in my heart. And choosing to be human would mean I would be ripping half of it out. Then there is no question to my decision. I choose to be Satan. At my answer, Nala stared at me dumbfounded for a moment. Yet within a matter of seconds, tears began to roll down her face as her head lowered to the ground. I immediately walked up to her and lifted her head to try and make her understand. Sweetheart, I'm not doing this to make you sad. This will not change anything. This won't impact our relationship as much as you think. I will still love you and Damien the same. I will be with you both every day. Just not in this form. The people down here need me too. My life up there is gone. And it would be hard to explain to others how I came back, especially our families. Mark my words. We will find out a way where you are satisfied and pleased with what I'm doing. Everything will be okay,
and we will still be a family. But we will also be adding another child into ours, because I refuse to move on with my life without her in it. Once my confession was out in the open, Nala leaped into my embrace and kissed my lips desperately. I knew what she was doing, kissing me for the last time as a human, tasting me once more before I take my place as the leader of a realm. Though it was going to be officially the end of my human life, it was going to be the beginning of a new life. A living involving my son, wife, and protector child. Eventually, we pulled away from each other, and I wiped away her tears.
Mr. Stone, you will be granted your demon spirit back along with your abilities. Your protector child will also be granted hers back as well. I will allow you the day to be with your family and spend time with them before you take your place as Satan officially. Once you touch the ground of Earth, you will return to your life as a demon. Only this time, without the torment of Kernon or regret of making a deal with the devil. I will see you soon, sir.
Then, without hesitation, he snapped his fingers and a rush of wind blew in our faces. We were all suddenly teleported into the living room of Nala's home. My body resorted back to its original demon form, standing taller than everyone around me, seeing my wife and son standing close, while Abby was nowhere. We looked about the room to find her nowhere to be seen, while her body was laying on the couch.
Dad, where is Abby?
Damien asked. I would assume in her body, but it isn't waking up. Probably in a deep sleep. At my remark, I walked over to my protector child and began to shake her body gently. Abby, it's time to wake up. We're back on Earth. No response was given. Just very shallow breathing. Abby? Still no response. Immediately I pressed my 2 finger pads against her neck to feel for a pulse. It was extremely weak, dangerously low. At the result, I turned my head to my family in fright. Hospital, now! Before we all knew it, within the span of a minute, we all packed in Abby's car, driving her to the emergency room.
Once we were all abruptly teleported back to Earth, I found myself once more within a dark abyss. It was somewhat peaceful to be in, yet I knew what happened to the Stone family and myself. I was aware that I was unconscious, but I didn't know what for. It worried me a bit, yet I couldn't fight off the comfortable sleep that I was in. After what seemed to be forever, my senses were finally coming back to me, and I was able to phase back into reality. My head was somewhat groggy while my vision was blurry for a moment. I could smell the scent of cleaner, while also hearing a heart rate monitor beeping to the left of me. Over the span of 30 seconds, my eyes fully opened and cleared to find myself laying in a hospital bed. I could feel different kinds of pads hooked up to my chest while an IV was placed within my right arm. It was pumping some clear fluid into my body, and I didn't know what. Yet, what caught my eye more was my parents sitting to the left of me, smiling. "Mom? Dad?" I said. Both of them greeted me gently as they stood up to give me hugs. I could hear my mom's voice breaking into a slight sob.
"How are you feeling, sweetheart?"
"I'm still a little groggy, but I'm very confused. What happened to me?"
"As far as we know, you were extremely dehydrated and had a glucose deficiency. They needed to pump you with fluids for a while to get your levels back up. You'll have to stay overnight at the hospital to make sure everything is fine. Is there anything you would like for me to bring here for the night?"
My own pillow would be nice. And maybe my star blanket?
Will do. Damien and his mom went to go and grab your toiletries and phone charger. If you need anything else, let us know. We'll be back.
After that, my mom kissed me on the forehead, and they both went to the door to exit the room. As they opened the door, Damien was on the other side, along with Nala. They both looked surprised. However, they were even more overjoyous to see me awake.
Abby!
Damien exclaimed, walking fast to the bed to embrace me in a hug.
You're awake? Thank goodness!
We brought some of your necessities while you were asleep, Nala said, stepping into the room. We'll watch her now, Miss Davis. We will let you know if we hear an update.
Thank you, Miss Haynes. We appreciate it.
Dad said politely. Then, saying their brief goodbyes, Mom and Dad left the room while Nala shut the door.
How are you doing, my love? Do you feel okay?
Damien asked. I'm okay. I'm still a little confused as to what happened. Well, your body's levels were unbalanced. That's pretty much the extent of it. I know that, but I'm talking about what happened before this. We were all in the demon world. We killed Satan. Darius agreed to take his place, and I didn't even get to say anything about it. Where is he? Once I said that, there was a knock on the door, and it suddenly opened and closed again. A male with a white lab coat walked in while wearing a red shirt and black pants. The clipboard was blocking his head, though. Regardless of that, he didn't drop a beat and began to talk.
Hello, Miss Davis. Glad to see you're awake. How are you feeling?
I'm okay. My mind is still foggy, but I imagine I just need some rest.
I would agree with that as well. As of right now, a saline solution is being dripped into your body to give you hydration. Your levels were very low when you came in. We also had to pump you full of dextrose to get your glucose level up again as well. So, while you're here for the night, I need you to eat.
Well, if the doctor is telling me to do so, then I shall obey those orders.
But not just any doctor is telling you to do so.
He said, now standing next to the IV drip. After that, he slowly pulled down the clipboard from his face and displayed his piercing red eyes with rectangle reading glasses. It was my protector demon. He was taking care of me within his human form. Yet his eyes were telling me that he was still a demon. With complete shock, I couldn't help but question him immediately. Darius, what are you doing? I said with a slight chuckle.
Taking care of my daughter. I'm not just gonna let anyone come in here and poke and prod you. I'm not going anywhere, kiddo. You and me, we are paired for life. Nothing will ever change that.
With his words filling the air, I couldn't help but start to cry tears of joy. Darius willingly called me his daughter and accepted me into his life. He chose to be Satan to keep me within his life. And now I was able to see him every day for the rest of my human life. Who knows what the next life will bring me, but as of right now, I was taking in this moment. Seeing the tears roll down my face, Darius sat down on the hospital bed and carefully wrapped me in a loving hug.
I love you, Abby. Welcome to the family.
At that, I gazed over to find Damien and Nala hugging each other as well, taking in the scene happening before them. Damien placed his head on top of his mother's hair, while Nala also began to cry tears of joy. They were all in agreement of accepting me into their lives officially. Knowing Darius was going to be protecting me, Nala receiving a daughter that she never had, and Damien having a partner to spend the rest of his life with. So as I finally acknowledged what has happened and what was to come, I closed my eyes and smiled, hugging my protector demon tighter, and ready to start my future within a better light, with Satan Stone and his family by my side, free to live on in peace and be who we are meant to be.
This has been Chapter 32, Choices. Tune into the next video for the epilogue. Thank you for listening.